Okay, so you're thinking about a renewable energy sales rep interview.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's such a cool field.
Mm.
Um, and we are going to dive deep today to help you really impress.
It's a really smart move to be considering this career path. The demand is just increasing more and more. And, these sales reps are so important to making renewable energy happen.
Exactly. So we've got a career guide and an interview guide you sent us.
Yeah.
And we'll even talk about how RoleCatcher can really give you a boost.
Awesome.
So the interview guide actually has a ton of questions,
Oh, right.
but I think we should focus on some of the more common ones.
Yeah, definitely.
One that really stood out to me was, can you tell us about your experience in renewable energy sales?
Okay.
Now, what if someone is kind of new to the field?
Yeah, that's a really common question. It's designed to figure out, what experience you have, but it doesn't have to be super direct experience. You can think about anytime you've had to convince someone solve a problem or manage a project, even if it's in a totally different industry.
All right.
The key is to really highlight those transferable skills.
So like if someone's worked in customer service,
Yes.
they could talk about dealing with tough clients and, finding solutions.
Absolutely.
Those problem solving and communication skills are so valuable in sales.
Definitely. You can also think about it like if you volunteered for, an environmental organization.
Oh, yeah.
You can talk about, your passion for sustainability and how you've communicated those ideas. It all shows your potential.
I love that. It's not just checking boxes.
Mm.
It's really about how your experiences get you ready for this role.
Exactly.
Now, what kind of follow-up questions might they ask after you've given an example?
They might ask you to, go deeper into the specifics. So they might ask, what was the biggest challenge in that situation? Or how did you know you were successful?
Ooh.
So be ready to give those specifics
Yeah.
and think about how you can measure your results.
Okay, so have those examples ready.
Yes.
Another question I saw was, how do you stay up to date with industry trends and changes?
Mhm.
This field is always changing, so it's so important to show you're learning all the time.
Absolutely. This is where you can show your passion and that you take learning into your own hands. You could mention, specific websites or publications or even conferences that you follow.
And RoleCatcher actually has a feature that can help with that.
They do. They have this AI-powered tool called the Career Compass that looks at job descriptions and tells you what skills you might need to learn. It's really cool. It can recommend courses or certifications and even networking opportunities to learn more.
That's amazing. It's like a roadmap for your career.
It is.
And speaking of skills, the career guide also mentioned knowing the technical side of things.
Yes.
Could they ask about specific technologies?
Oh, for sure. You might get questions about solar PV systems or wind energy or net metering or even types of solar panels. It's worth getting familiar with these terms just to show, what you're talking about.
Makes sense. All right, let's tackle another question from the guide. This one says, can you give an example of a time you overcame a sales-related challenge? This feels like you need to tell a story. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is a storytelling moment. So choose a story that shows your resilience and how you solve problems and think outside the box. Focus on the obstacle, what you did, and the good outcome that happened. And remember, those numbers and results always make a story stronger.
So instead of just saying, I closed the deal,
Right.
you could say something like, I exceeded my sales goal by 15%, even though the client was hesitant at first.
Exactly. It just adds more weight.
Okay, cool. Building on that idea of challenges, another question is, how do you handle rejection or difficult clients? Because not every sales pitch is going to be a success.
Right.
So how can you turn those tough experiences into something positive?
It's all about showing you can stay calm under pressure.
Yeah.
You actively listen to the client's concerns, and then you find a way to address those needs.
Right.
Even if you don't make the sale, you can still show that you're committed to building those relationships.
So you're not just focused on the sale itself.
Right.
You're building trust and credibility for the long term. That's super valuable. Now, before we go to more questions, I want to touch on something else RoleCatcher can help you with.
Okay.
Their AI can actually analyze your answers to practice interview questions.
Wow.
And it gives you personalized feedback based on the specific job you're going for.
It's like having a virtual coach.
It is. Okay, back to the questions. The guide mentioned one about your sales process. Can you walk us through your sales process from lead generation to closing the deal?
All right. This is where you show you have a structured approach and that you understand the whole sales cycle. Don't be afraid to adjust your process for different clients, but make sure you show you can build rapport, identify needs, and present solutions effectively.
So it's not about having a script.
No.
It's about showing you can adapt and think on your feet.
Yes.
I think we have time for one more question in this section.
Okay.
How about this one? How do you differentiate your product or service from competitors in the market? This feels like it could get negative if you're not careful.
You're right. It's a tough one. The key is to focus on what makes you unique without, putting down the competition. Highlight what makes your company stand out. Maybe it's better technology or stronger customer support or more sustainable practices. Whatever it is, focus on the positives.
So showcase your knowledge, but stay professional and positive.
Exactly.
That's a great place to wrap up this section. We're just getting started, though. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dig into career paths and the pros and cons of the job, and even more interview insights.
Welcome back. So we just talked about some common questions you'll probably get in a renewable energy sales rep interview.
Yep.
Now let's think about, what a career in this field could actually look like. The career guide you sent talks about some really interesting opportunities for growth.
Yeah, it shows how you could start as an entry-level rep and move up to senior rep, then sales manager, and even director of sales.
Right.
Each step comes with more responsibility, but also more, impact and reward. What does a typical day look like as you climb the ladder?
At the entry level, you'd probably be doing a lot of market research, finding leads, and helping out the more experienced reps. Then, as a junior rep, you'd be assessing clients, giving presentations, and maybe closing some smaller deals.
Go ahead.
And a senior rep would be managing a team, coming up with sales strategies, and going after those bigger clients.
Wow. So you're not just closing more deals, you're also developing your skills and taking on leadership roles.
Exactly.
What about those management positions? What do those look like day to day?
A sales manager oversees the whole department. Setting targets, training the team, and analyzing market trends. And then the director of sales is all about the big picture strategy. They guide the whole sales operation and make sure it's aligned with the company's goals.
It's so cool to see such a clear path for growth in this field.
It is.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's go back to those interview questions.
Okay.
I'm curious, what kind of questions might they ask to see if you have leadership potential, even if you haven't managed a whole team before?
They might ask something like, how would you go about building and managing a sales team?
Oh, interesting.
Even if you haven't officially led one, think about times when you've motivated others or delegated tasks or given feedback or, resolved conflicts, even in group projects or volunteer work.
So even experiences outside of work can show leadership skills.
Absolutely.
What are the interviewers really looking for with this kind of question?
They want to see your leadership style.
Yeah.
Do you communicate clearly? Do you set expectations? Do you encourage collaboration? And do you hold people accountable? You could even mention mentors you've had or leadership styles you admire.
Okay. It's about showing you can help others succeed and not just focus on your own achievements.
Exactly.
Speaking of motivation, another question from the interview guide was, how do you stay motivated and focused in a fast-paced sales environment?
Yeah,
Especially in renewable energy, where things are always changing. You need that drive.
for sure. This question is all about your passion and resilience. Be genuine and specific. You could talk about setting goals, prioritizing tasks, finding ways to recharge, and celebrating wins. Let that excitement for renewable energy really come through.
So it's not just about the money. It's about making a difference.
Right.
Now, we talked about RoleCatcher's AI feedback on practice questions, but how else can it help with this kinds of question?
Well, RoleCatcher looks at the specific job description and the company's values. Their AI can actually suggest ways to tailor your answers so they fit what the company is looking for. So if they really value teamwork, you can work that into your answer about staying motivated.
It's like having a personalized strategy session.
It is.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about the realities of this job. Every job has pros and cons. What does the career guide say about being a renewable energy sales representative?
It's a rewarding field, but it has its challenges. On the plus side, there's high demand, good earning potential, and you get to contribute to something positive for the environment.
Those are some great perks. What about the potential downsides? What should people be ready for?
It can be competitive. You need strong sales and communication skills, and it might involve a lot of travel depending on the role. The career guide also says you need to keep learning about the latest technology in the industry.
So you need to be adaptable and comfortable with tech. The continuous learning we talked about is really important.
Definitely.
Now, before we wrap up this section, there's another common interview question. Why do you want to work here?
Oh, that's a good one to bring up. It seems so simple, but a lot of people stumble on it. It's not enough to just be passionate about renewable energy. You have to show you're genuinely interested in that company.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you make your answer stand out and not sound generic?
Research is key. Look into their values, their recent projects, their company culture. Find something that truly excites you and connect it back to your own skills and goals. If they're known for innovative solar panel technology and you're fascinated by that, talk about it.
So go beyond the surface level and show you've done your homework. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll recap everything and leave you with something to think about as you prep for your interview. We're back for the last part of our deep dive on getting ready for that renewable energy sales rep interview. We've talked about a lot, from specific questions to career paths and what the job is really like. Before we finish up, let's recap some of the key takeaways.
Definitely. Preparation is key. Use those resources you have, like that career guide and interview guide. Practice those answers. Maybe even record yourself so you can see how you come across. And like we've been saying all along, do your research on the company.
Yeah, knowing their values and what projects they've done and even their company culture can really make a difference in how you answer those questions. And remember, even if you don't have direct experience in renewable energy sales, focus on those transferable skills.
Exactly. Talk about times you've persuaded someone or solved a tough problem or led a team. Those are valuable skills no matter what industry you're in. And don't forget about those AI tools from RoleCatcher.
Yeah.
They can help you figure out what skills you need to work on, tailor your answers to the job, and even give you feedback on your interview performance.
It's incredible how technology can help you stand out.
It really is.
Beyond all the technical stuff, I think one of the biggest takeaways is to just let your passion shine through. This is a field that's making a real difference in the world, and your excitement can be really contagious.
I totally agree. When you're passionate about something, it shows. And that can help you connect with the interviewer and make you stand out from other candidates.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with one last question to think about. We talked about staying up to date on industry trends, but we're curious, what's one emerging renewable energy technology that really excites YE and why?
That's a great question to consider as you explore this field. Keep learning, keep exploring, and good luck in your interview.
And don't forget to check out all the amazing resources RoleCatcher has to offer. They have everything you need to land your dream job and build a successful career in renewable energy. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.